taken a matchup like the Aatrox, like the Cho'Gath, that would have been a lot more comfortable. And instead, Morgan's blinding, and now I think Dudu's in a much more comfortable spot. And I think ultimately DN Freecs
not going to be worried about being put in the kennel.
And it just feels like constantly Bro had the pressure in this matchup.
Well, the flash forward from Quantum, the cleanse flash to get Hype out of there, and Polo is just chasing Berserker down. First blood, and Polo is taking matters into his own hands, picks up a double on
We're just going to let this dragon go. Not too worried about a singular Ocean this time around, as nice stun out from Morgan. Does get knocked up by the Q. There is the Soul Furnace as well, doing a lot of work. As Morgan gets hit by another Q there as well. So the Scion doing a pretty good job here in this top lane. And now let's see what Hype can do. Quantum with the Magnet Storms, pretty good, but another cleanse does come out. There's the double knockup, but Pyosik is going to come in, and Polo, I don't think he's going to make anything happen here. He's just going to be taken down. There's a kill on the board for DNF.
Really easy gang.
Bulldog just beating down this turret. That is just gone. Really nicely played. The Nature's Grasp is going to come through for the attempted punish. But there's the Sun Disc going to be put up as Emperor's Divide comes down. Bulldog still not out of the woods just yet, as the depth charge is going to lock him up. And they've taken one kill. Croco looking a bit worse for wear though, as Morgan sidesteps the Q. And there's a nice double knock off the ulti to follow there from Closer. Looking fantastic on the Yone this time as he flashes towards Dudu. He does get knocked up, but he's still pretty tanky on this Scion. Another Q going to connect, but the Soul Furnace is going to be back as Pyosik going to be flashing away. Hype flashes forward to get the kill on to the Trundle. The Arc of Ruin there does a fair bit of work towards Berserker, but he is safe under the turret. A big win for the Bros as they lock down the feats of warfare and grab so many extra kills.
Huge overcommit there from DNF onto the tower.
And now Dudu making his way in. DNF committing to this fight, but Dudu off to the side, does charge the Q, but doesn't get the knock-up onto Closer, is now Hype doing so much work. As Quantum down to 50%, Morgan dives in and will be able to stun up the Rel. Hook connects onto Pyosik, Emperor's Divide is decent as Morgan will be going down, but it's a double for Closer on the back end of the fight, and Hype is still there, laying down the damage. Closer looking for even more, but I think he'll have to go back to that soul pretty soon. And Dudu will survive, but still a massive win for the Bros once again.
Just great execution, and Closer finding a fantastic angle. This is definitely the redemption he needed for that on that Yone.
Exactly right. That three-man ulti just magnificent out of this guy, and I think it's a really I think that this one isn't, you know, worth losing the game over. So
there'll be other dragons to lose the game over. Don't you worry.
Exactly. As Berserker going to get slurpled, but otherwise
constantly. And it exposes you to flanks, it exposes you to walking into saplings, things like that. And it's just not a...
And that's 2 items on Croco as well, and he did not stop building damage.
Yeah.
As Morgan also, he's hit too, as the Spirit Surgeon does come in. Hook gonna go wide here from Polo. Kind of crazy that the hitbox didn't quite work out there, as somehow it's a double snare from the Nature's Grasp. Polo gonna have to flash away because that one is not really what he wanted. Hype able to dash out of the Scion ulti.
And it's just like a little compulsion. You know, you walk by it, you want to give it a little love tap.
Yep, sometimes you just want to hit something. And that's precisely what he's gonna do. And now DNF 5 strong here in the mid lane as Polo looking for a bit of a hook angle, finds a minion. That's not exactly what he wants as the Nature's Grasp comes down. Bulldog just out of position as Morgan is chasing after him, doesn't find the dice as there is the hook combo out from Polo onto Pyosik as the exhaust does come through. Dudu the first one to fall, and the front line is now missing for DNF. The Bros, I think they got what they wanted as they now look to push out the mid lane.
Great angle there from Morgan on the flank. Now DNF should be able to defend their tower. Fortunately, they still have the TP on Zeus to kill Dudu. So really nice flank from him there. Now, Bro have control over the area. DNF a TP and Dudu in to try and contest.
Yep, Quantum looking for a bit of an angle here. As you can see, it's slightly split for the Bros. Once again, a flank angle for Morgan, but it is going to get watched out for as there's the exhaust onto Closer. Not really a full commit here as Dudu just taking a lot of free damage for the moment. Another double knockup from the Q, and the instant ulti from Closer just says good night. The interrupt! This guy's Yone today is just something else as Hype is looking to keep them at bay. That is soul point for the Bros. Oh, maybe it's actually enough.
And yet he did, you know, just rubbing it in, establishing that he's on form right now today. They'll get the Dragon, they'll get the Baron, they'll get the Arakan, and it's looking like they're getting
lead. And let's have a look at it from Closer's perspective yet again. The double knock up, the ulti, instant just death of the front line. And then, like, this did not need to happen, but it was so beautiful. That has been deadly in these fights, though, so a big cooldown to now be used up. Yep. Still, the bros get a lot out of it. They take down this mid outer turret finally, as the Blast Cone is going to evacuate Quantum and Pureshik.
Yeah, I will say, level 16, the ult cooldown.
Yeah, it's not massive.
Amount, so he won't be chewed, but it did look cool.
It certainly did. As this inner turret will stay alive for the moment. Berserker and Bulldog going to be able to save that. But Morgan up there by himself, taking the inner soul time. Hype getting to work on this one. They've got so much damage when they do decide to go in here. They don't want Pureshik with any chance of making this happen, and he doesn't. They just burst it down. The ulti from Closer, but it's mitigated by that Zhonya's. But that arcane smash was so good. Arcaroon comes down as well. Now it's Hype's time to shine. Gets on top, but actually Berserker shuts down the Inara just for a couple of seconds before Closer says, no, this is the decade of Closer, and I am sorry, but you are not winning this team fight. Yeah, Pureshik
keep
not
running,
getting out of this one either.
Keep running, bro.
Yeah,
don't stop. Don't stop.
It is some defecting time here for the Trundle, who decides to sit in
you're not going to be able to make it. No, just keep running.
Well, he might actually...
No.
He's not going to. But still, I mean, he hasn't been touched by the Maokai yet. So that is going to be an execute. And down goes Pureshik, not feeling too happy about it, as you can see. They also have Infernal Soul, as you mentioned before. That was going to be problematic, and that is going to continue to be so, as the Baron has spawned and now it's dead. Damage items, 0-0-12 Maokai. As Closer not too worried about Sion and Pureshik.
The reason I don't think the saplings will matter much is because you have to leave your base to walk in brushes. And I don't think that's happening.
Dudu, I don't think he's getting out of this one either. The Unstoppable Onslaught is feeling a bit stoppable here. Is the ulti going to collect two of them? Immediate snapback there from Closer, though, who did not want to use up that GA just yet. And the Sion does go down. Nothing Dudu can really do here, unfortunately, even though he is Dudu. My goodness, Hype doing so much work, but Berserker's actually, really starting to...
Yeah, I mean, they'd be redemption for that debt they paid, right?
Now's the time, DNF. Make it happen, as the nature is grasping, and I'm grasping at straws as far as trying to explain that there is a way out here for DNF. It's looking real rough as down this one goes. There's the flash hook out Apollo as well, as Pureshik nowhere to go, and he will just be wiped out. Hype doing so much damage in this fight. This Lurk will connect, and the answer is immediate there from Closer. And look at these autos from Hype. He's untouched. Empress Divide, though, will be able to find him down to the GA. Is this Yunara? But that is a zombie Sion that's just going to get wiped out. The knock-up onto Berserker as well, as he is relegated to the fountain. No comeback this time, as the bros put DNF down here in game one.
And the thing...
Made it all the way through. Not exactly the most fun matchup, especially into Blue Side Rumble. So Morgan going to have his work cut out for him.
And I feel like DN Freecs kind of held their nerve.
And I think this mid lane is going to be a pretty important place, as Pureshik making his way in already at level 3. The flash out from Closer, but the follow is going to be there. The flash forward, and there is the first blood going over to Bulldog.
He's on his own.
Yep, he's going to have to try and be a Gwen is immune type situation here, but it is getting real rough. There is the concussive blows, and Life comfortably tanks up that Berserker, picking up that kill. Going to be huge here for DNF. Headbutt Polv is going to connect onto Dudu, but he is just going to take a little bit of damage, otherwise be absolutely fine. And the answers here for the bros just aren't...
Oh no.
Morgan, why are we doing this? The exhaust does come on through, but he's just dead again. Yeah, I don't know. There's a nice little headbutt, and they will be able to answer. No, never mind. Dudu is just going to keep himself alive, and he holds the wave away from the turret at the same time. Oh, dear. This has not gone very well for the bros.
Oh, the slow!
Hype is just going to pick it up with a fast bomb. I actually thought that maybe it was just going to be all over, but that is going to be pretty cute. Let's see whether they can actually make this dive work. Of course, there is no ulti for Dudu. Double teleports coming in as Closer is down here as well. They're going to see whether they can take out Dudu before that teleport completes, and they will be able to do so. as Closer goes between the worlds, but it's a double teleport. The double pole is also fantastic, but under the turret they go as there's the snip from Morgan to lock down another kill. The Aurora will be going down, but it's a trade up for the Bros. At least they can hold on to that. They were completed very early here for DNF, but feats of strength haven't quite been confirmed just yet. Just one objective or turret, and they will be able to lock that one down. As Pyoshik is in position, there is Earth, Wind, and Fire confirmed. That's fantastic. Polo going to be moving over as Morgan with the needlework, looking to try and take down some Tibbers. As Polu is in a bit of trouble. He does have the Unbreakable Will, but it's not going to last forever, and it's only level 1. There's the Cyclone, and the immediate double kill does come in. Closer, can he make it happen? The answer is no, because he's exhausted, and that's just 3 on the floor for the Bros. DNF pull it right back. Last time around, certainly a few more stakes in it, as DNF weren't actually defeated as okay. There's the Vault Breaker flash, as Bulldog just going to be executed. They'll take Tibbers as well for a bit of 50 gold on top. Again, doesn't have cease and desist available, as there is a control ward here.
No.
Yeah, Bro just going to set up the teleport and equalizer just to deal with the wave. Dudu knows that he's dead. Not even going to use the flash or anything like that. Morgan comes down. Pyoshik going to be answering this with feats of strength. Actually going to be completed earlier with that turret falling down in the mid lane. It's a big investment from the Bros.
This is not a good trade for the Bros right now. You're losing 2 towers. You're losing the Herald. This is not working out too favorably. And the fact that Dudu gets the ult the wave as well. I mean, look how healthy that tower is. You know, Morgan's not getting anything. Doesn't bin the flash.
Well, Morgan is now going to be able to take the turret.
Yeah, it
so
is
there's
lane matchup. Closer's now laning into Dudu, and Dudu is not having a fun time.
Oh, Rift Herald. They're going to get the entire outer ring of turrets very comfortably here.
This is more what we expected. Game 1 felt like a bit of an outlier because...
All right, Closer looking for Dudu here. As, all right, there's a vibe. Cease and desist comes on through, and Croco tanks up the turret for about a year and is very...
And sure, it gives over the dragon, but it's a long way away from Soul right now. It's going to be a very jerky gold grab.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Like, as far as triaging the disadvantage that they did have in this game, yeah, it doesn't have a massive amount of money, but has way more than Dudu, as he's dead again. The exhaust goes down. Morgan able to dash away from that last turret. Bulldog comes in and just says goodbye. And down goes the Gwen. Another stun is going to connect here onto Croco as well, as the Bolt Breaker is blocked gorgeously here by Bulldog, as Croco not even going to be allowed to flash away. Pyoshik says goodnight, and that's a 1 for 2. Dudu pretty happy about sacrifice. As Polo not too worried about getting stunned up by an Annie or anything like that. Pyoshik looking for an angle towards Croco here, as Closer could also be in trouble. Tries to go between the worlds, but he's just stunned up. And that is a dead Aurora before she can do anything at all. Does do a bit of AoE damage, I guess, but here it's Otacon time for DNF. And the Bros, do they have an answer? That's the question. Hype off to the side, kind of awkward position here for this Corki as he's looking to chase down Bulldog. Does do a lot of damage, but there is the response. And he was just alone. The rest of the team had already backed away.
Yeah, that felt very desperate. And Berserker, so strong, so quick, just a dash
to decide to go in as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, everyone from DNF was just like, what is he doing? Let's just kill him. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Let's just kill the Otacon now.
Yeah, the pendulum has stopped swinging. It is now just in DNF's favor, as Closer to go between the worlds here, and does just put himself in a very uncomfortable spot.
Yeah.
I'm going to say unforced error on that one, as Dudu wants to get the kill. Pyoshik is going to deny it.
There was definitely a way in which he
could be an opportunity, as Tibbers is going to give away the position. It's a pretty optimistic Baron start, as the Culling comes through. That's a massive pulverize, as Hype trying to keep himself alive. He's not going to be successful, but it is Berserker going down as well, and unfortunately, these wallets be heavy. And DNF, they just lose Berserker. Croco wasn't even interested.
Yeah, I mean, you see so much effort is put into taking down the Lucian. They finally get him. That Corki's already dead. The rest of the team just getting demolished. So many people left alive on DNF. Croco's looking, but against an Annie, I'm not sure you're going to be able to find an angle to get close to that Baron. DNF healthy enough to slowly take this one, and yeah, Bulldog is playing bouncer, so it's going to be Baron secured here.
Yep, very nicely done. Locked up here
by... They lose the fight, they lose the Baron, and DNF 5,000 gold ahead with Baron in pocket. Oh, and a pretty... Oh, no, Croco.
Yeah, there's a bear. And he's dead. Bulldog going to be able to lock that one down.
That was pretty quick. A lot of magic resist shred in the Zani.
Yeah, Zani's actually extraordinarily strong, but Pyosik is the biggest problem right now from what we can see. 7-0-6 on the Wukong.
There's multiple problems.
Yeah, you mentioned the 2-item spike. How about the 3-item spike?
Yeah, a lot of problems, not many solutions. Even the Rumble feels a little intimidating. The support Rumble's coming online.
He certainly is. He's only 720 gold behind. The inhibitor turret not going to be answered.
The Braum with Lock of Redemption, you know, he's putting up some numbers.
Yeah, Life actually doing it once again. Gets subbed in, looks real good. I mean, the bottom lane, honestly, went a whole lot better. You can imagine the matchup feels a whole lot better just in general, but I think the way they played it, also an improvement here as Closer ults behind him. This Aurora has not been the thing.
Yeah. And you know what I'm feeling pretty confident about? That Wukong Annie win rate in the Rise group.
Yeah, feeling like... Choo-choo, up you go. Wonderful. DNF just going to be clearing out the last remaining inner turret here. As the bros, I don't know how you really even throw the Hail Mary. That's the roughest part of this.
I think you just send it, start a fight.
They're going to look for it. Between Worlds available again here for Closer, but the inhibitor is just going to be dead, and Berserker just culls Closer. And he is out of here.
Yeah, sooner rather than later.
Yeah, we're going to have to go for some sort of something, but Polu's just dead. And the bros, they're like, no, this is not the time.
Probably at some point before your Nexus dies. Generally is a good time to fight. Any time before your Nexus dies.
That would be a good option. Let's see whether they can make that one happen as Morgan goes golden. First Nexus turret is looking to go down though, as Between Worlds is actually employed. Bulldog down pretty low, but unfortunately, it's not low enough as the bros just gonna get incinerated by this support Rumble. He picks up a double kill. Redemption for Dudu as the Nexus goes down, and DNF will bring us to a game 3 this time.
And honestly, that is Hecarim.
Okay, well, Pyosik is going to be riding the horse. Let's see how it goes. Was Hecarim, he was buffed to answering Q Deadly Flourish is good. All right, bros. We're in a little bit of trouble as Pyosik already cantering in there, does get the pushback onto Hype, who goes down exceedingly low as Polu trying to keep Bulldog in position, but the turtle port from Closer just takes So we put it first this time. As Croco going to be able to take one of these grubs. There is Pyosik going in, but the gravity field was pretty good. Immediate use of the Impale onto Pyosik, but the answering damage is going to be there from DNF as Hype not really doing too much. Does have a 4th bullet, doesn't really do much with it. And then crash into the wall there, but unfortunately is going to die midair as the disengage cone tries to come in. And DNF off to a great...
DRX fans would very much appreciate.
Yep, and it's once again Berserker with the big lead.
Yeah.
So comes on over to help out, taking this first Hex Tech Dragon.
Yeah, you can see Judy stepped up to get the plate, and then Morgan was trying to find an angle.
Oh dear, the Rune Prison does come on through, and actually Pyosik able to avoid Croco Pop Blossom, and down goes the victor. Life is actually just the savior of DNF today.
Oh, he is. And Pyosik had such a great...
Not going to be contested as Polo is moving in. Hype finds Berserker, or does Berserker find Hype? As that is so much damage. Croco just moving in. It is going to be a smite fight, and it's won here by the Scorpion, who just walks over, picks up the eye. I don't think he's making it out, but at least manages to steal away the objectives. There's at least that. As Deadly Flourish here from Hype is going to be able to continue clearing. That is going to be the wave cleared out here by Closer.
Oh, Cloud Soul with Hecarim?
Oh dear, Bulldog could be in a little bit of trouble as Croco pushes him over. Life is in trouble, but he finds the Pop Blossom angle only onto one, but it's the most important one. The flashback does come on through, and Berserker turns up in the nick of time. Croco looks for the angle there as Pyosik kills the turret before it gets to take him down, and DNF, they can do no wrong in this game.
Maybe some of the teams are pretty lucky that DNF can't qualify for Worlds anymore.
Exactly. All of the other regions are like, oh, thank goodness. We don't have to deal with this.
Maybe our region too, you know.
Well, I mean, that's true, but everyone looking on is like, wow.
Yeah.
We dodged this bullet.
Yeah.
Could have been coming our way. Well, Realm Warp going to come on through there as the Void Seeker is going to connect. Bulldog just going to be turning up by himself, but that will guarantee this outer turret. That's what DNF needs to do. Take incremental advantage.
If they get the Atacant here, they have a huge gold lead.
Well, I mean, there's not a whole lot of anyone being able to see anything at all.
There's a good chance we don't get... The game might end before the Cloud Soul. And I personally, I don't know about you.
This Drake.
No. If you look, Crocco's actually clearing his camp, so it's zoned DNF away.
Look at this.
Oh, the Realm Warp.
Huge tempo play.
Oh.
And there are no bros to speak of. There is 2 teleports available, but they are just going to lose this inner turret.
They didn't want that tier 2 tower anyway.
No, tier 2 turrets aren't necessary. This is going to get spotted immediately. And they have this cheeky little ward that Bulldog is standing on, but this Baron is still going down. There's the flash forward, the Impale, just to try and pick up Bulldog, but he flashes away. The Pop Blossom picks up 2, but they've taken down the Rise already. Morgan still looking for a bit of an angle here as Pyosik looking to run his way out. Dudu going to get taken for a walk here as he is snared up. There's a nice double knockback, and the Dusante is popping off. He takes down the Victor, and now he's looking for more. Morgan's ult just goes nowhere, but he's still able to do the damage. Never mind. It's Berserker that locks him down in the end, and Polu is the product of a potential quadra kill, but it doesn't actually come through as Pyosik locks that one up for the ace, and DN Freecs not going to be routed this time.
The cleanup comes through. The Baron base successful. We denied the Cloud Soul Hecarim, but I don't think DNF care. The 3rd series win gonna come through. I think
this, yeah? Go back. The Drake's up. The Drake's up, guys. It's time for super fast Hecarim. We need it. Never mind. We're not going to get it. The Nexus turrets are going to go down. There are 6 seconds on Crocco and Closer, but they are just going to be spectators as this Nexus goes down, and the DN Freecs pick up another.
A lot of value. Does have that movement speed to kind of sync up with the Wukong and offer that engage threat. One thing this does mean as well, they didn't end up
softened up. Of course, you're going to have a range disadvantage as the Sivir, but that Cosmic Binding was pretty good. Nice knock up onto Carrier there as the tempo heals come out from both of these supports. And Guru and Carrier getting aggressive. Both, the Ghost and the Barrier both used here as well. He's using that pretty well, as you can see. 5 CS in the lead for the Jax. We'll have to keep our eye on it. As going for a bit of a lane gank here as there's the Magical Journey set up for Carrier. Creates some distance as Viper already relatively low. As Peanut in position, but Owner is going to come on down. And T1 just push them away and deny them any entry. Position, of course, Zeus doesn't exactly have the most gigantic health bar. But Peanut is coming in. There's the leap strike, and Doran not going to be able to dash his way out of that one. Into the brush goes Zeus, and Doran should be going down here. Wind becomes lightning, though. He's going to miss. And Doran's flash works out so well. Zeus now could be the one in trouble as Owner goes in, and they really want to repair this wave. And Zeus going to have UI as well. We don't necessarily know how much the lead is. It's all right, Faker, will he get taunted? He does. But too close to the turret. Zeus not wanting to go for anything. Phase Rush getting the Galio out. Flash has to be invested here by Carrier as he gets the 2-man ult. There's the Magical Journey as well. Immediate flash from Viper gets him out of there, and now Peanut looking for an angle. It could be Carrier that they can jump towards because he doesn't have his flash. The heroic entrance to deliver the Galio, and there's first blood over to Viper. The angry orange coming out there as well as it does come in. Justice Punch going to connect as well as the Cyclone has to be invested here by the Wukong. And the Orianna is just...
probably not the best time to look for it, but now looking for these grubs.
All right, let's see whether they can actually fight for this one.
Zek is resetting. He's going to TP back in.
Yep, kind of an awkward position, but there's a very aggressive teleport. Still, the flash in from Delight to try and lock down Carrier. Doesn't quite have anywhere to go. So he is going to be the sacrificial lamb. T1 did manage to take 2 of the grubs, though, so already they do secure the objective.
They wanted to get an advantage for Doran. Now, though, looking for a play here. This is Faker coming in alone.
Yeah. We've seen teleports like this not go so well today, as there's the Magnustorm. Faker looking for the angle, but everyone shows up, and Delight's able to tank the turret. So that was not the teleport that he wants.
See if they can get in position. I don't think it'll be in time to answer this dragon.
Delight is going to move over. Peanut was thinking about stopping the Raptors, but I think that he is still just going to let this one go. Down to 7, no vision. See whether T1 can actually make a play for this one. Tempered Fate is available. Carrier can be pretty annoying as the teleport is going to be invested. Carrier's taking a lot of damage. but he can do a lot of disruption from a long way away as all T1 are grouped up. On the hunt has been popped. His owner walks in, just steals their lunch money. That's a way to do it as the Winds of War come out, but a little bit late there is Zeker, unfortunately. And now T1 fancy a fight. They want to be able to pick up this eye. There's the Magnet Storm to try and pick up this Ambessa. She goes golden though. The heroic entrance is mistimed, and Doran not even able to pick up the eye. It's Owner that's able to collect it there, but the Ambessa is going to go down. And now right into the Rift Herald immediately goes T1's jungler Zeus, keeping himself alive for such a long time as Carrier down to 200 health, but there is the first turret going over to T1 as well.
And HLE cannot help but be frustrated with the outcome of that. Owner slinks in, steals it away. They try and force the fight after it, but I feel like the ult from the Bard just killed all the momentum in that fight. And even though they did get Doran in the end, I just don't think it really means anything.
Yeah, turret is going to be answered here by HLE, but first turret was already gone.
Yeah, and then the flash from Doran. And shit, does Doran go down? Yes. But it just completely kills the momentum of HLE in the fight. And the thing with HLE as well, they don't have that much sustained DPS, right? A very bursty composition with like the Poke Varus and the Galio. So once that momentum's gone, it's very hard to get back.
Let's check this one out from Owner again. He picks up the eye, immediately puts it down and gets in. And he was the one that was low, right? And so takes it for a drive. This drift was kind of sick as well, as you can see. Able to get on over, takes first turret.
I think it might have been Doran who put the eye down. And
depending on what Zeker is going to build, he will also become more and more dangerous. As Chains of Corruption going to connect here on to Gumayusi. Tempered Fate is there to try and keep him alive, but now he's in a sticky situation. Redemption comes down though, and Peanut goes in. And I think he may have gone in a bit too far. Gumayusi just baiting them for T1 at this stage, as we're going to check this one out from Carrier's perspective. And the flash over as well.
Yeah, I mean the timing's so good, it denies the burst. Again, bursty comp, you're playing a Poke Virus, so if you auto W a target with those items and you crit, so much damage.
Shockwave going to get eaten by the Justice Punch, but still needs to flash to get himself out of there. We'll see whether he's actually going to be okay, as Owner not quite able to get the knock up. The flash in, the full commit here from Peanut as he gets the knock up. Justice Punch lands, and the taunt comes down. Down goes the monkey. And Zeker will be on the board now. 2-0-2 on the Galio.
Went down. They don't want to give this over for free.
Yeah, Faker is very low though. They're lacking a couple of ultimates. One of them is on the monkey that is definitely not going to be showing up to this one. But yeah, they may not have Smite, but they've still got Gumayusi, so be careful, HLE. Redemption going to be keeping them healthy. Happens once again as there's a public execution. Connecting onto Viper, but he does get himself out of the way. Chains of Corruption are good. And into the backline goes Zeker. He finds the angle of Magnet Storm. Also fantastic. No one's dead just yet. Gumayusi takes the magical journey to get out, and the Shockwave denies Zeker. The Winds of War will come in, and finally the Orianna goes down. But Zeker may be in trade going down as well, and he does, and Owner turns up with a full health bar to tell HLE to get out of here. I don't know whether they're going to listen to him though, as in they go, down goes the monkey. Gumayusi now in trouble as Zeus takes matters into his own hands, and it's his magical journey he's going to be taking as Carrier gets the heck out of there, and HLE will take their prize.
Just when you think T1 are getting away with murder, escaping with such low HP, HLE
Jax has all of a sudden become the biggest deal for T1 to work out. As okay, Zeker could be in a little bit of trouble here as he's trying to get back towards this relatively low health turret. Does have that Justice Punch as the Cyclone does come in. Taunt not really helping out, and down he goes. Nothing they could do about it, but turret is going to still be secured on that bottom side, and Viper trying to get some work done here against Doran as well. Public Execution is going to connect onto this Varus, but he's just trying to kite it out. Double Redemptions coming in there as the Hail of Arrows is going to come on through as Faker finds the angle. Doran's so incredibly low. There is going to be the Shockwave connecting, and that's going to disintegrate the bottom lane. Zeus breaks the arm guard immediately. He's pretty healthy, and he gets on top of Kuma. Takes him down before he goes out, but it's a double kill for the Sivir as well, and Peanut, he's not going to be winning this fight. T1 reigns supreme.
Just when you feel like HLE have control of the...
Delight gets a ward over the wall. I think that HLE are not going to be too surprised about this one, as The vision does come on through. Peanut is in the area as Chains of Corruption gets the flash out from Carrier. Now Faker could be in a little bit of trouble. The ulti goes wide there from Doran as Zeka gets all in amongst it. Goes golden there as well as he pops the arm guard, but the shockwave is going to connect, takes down the Galio, but the 3-man stun from Zeus is huge. He does have his Zhonya's the Tempered Fate is actually going to keep him in stasis for even longer, and Viper just can't finish off these targets. He does manage to land one of them as a pause. And Viper is the only... How do we unpause this ever?
I think T1's composition is definitely leaning towards the point where it's stronger.
Okay, here we are. We are back into it one more time. Viper is trying to get away, and I don't think he will actually escape, and he doesn't.
Hey, I said this would happen.
Yeah, that's I agreed with you. I thought that you were kind of onto something there, as T1 with some lower health bars. We're just going to be heading over
Ona and Doran are just a bit too hard to cut through right now.
And remember when this game was even? It's now 5,000 gold in the lead for T1, and Peanut is in all the trouble in the world. He doesn't have... Oh, he's able to audaciously charge towards the Gromp.
That was pretty audacious.
It was.
Didn't really change anything.
And in the meantime, 3 members of HLE are running away from a Wukong, from what I could see on the minimap. Zeus will be splitting towards this bottom side of the map, might be able to get a dent into this inner turret, but I imagine T1 should make quick work of this inner on top side as the smallest magical journey. It's not very magical, is it? It's just kind of an archway. But it looks very pretty because it's Carrier's skin, so that's pretty cool. 2 turrets are going to go down, but this is going to be 3 for T1.
You can tell there's a gold bard main out there somewhere who's saying, look, Carrier does it too.
I mean, some of the walls just aren't the same as the others, you know? As this inhibitor is going to be taken.
I like to believe that he did it to prank Doran, because that is... that is the... He's like, Doran, go through here.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Do you know what's really frustrating? This game was so close, and now it's over.
Yeah.
It's just done.
That is the kind of the T1 special. I think it was always a little bit on a timer for HLE.
Yeah.
And too much back and forth, and then just one huge loss ends up really pushing it in favor. And now T1 just really looking to close things out. I think someone needs to massively overstep if HLE want to...
Well, Peanut, he might be the one doing that. Does have ult, so that is going to divide T1. Chains of Corruption is going to connect. That is a single-man shockwave here, and Peanut is pretty durable, but Zeka, not so much. And they just melt to the ricochet damage out of this 4.5k in the lead Sivir. And Viper having to deal with this monkey. It's a triple kill for Guma, who's going to make it a quadra. Carrier steals it away. Adorable. We get the zoom in from Jonah Strong as well. And this was close until it absolutely wasn't, ladies and gentlemen. HLE gonna have to try better in game number 2. As just a little leap strike there from Zeus, as Guma is going to convince him to stay in his fountain. And I think he will do exactly that. The only gold lead here for HLE, but the gold advantages are just looking ridiculous. Zeus takes the magical journey. That was so cool. That was the highlight moment of this entire game for me. That was very, very cute. Zeus does go golden. The Nexus will go boom. And HLE are just going to have to try again in game number 2. Peanut, not going to do anything. Their evolution has been the lane, right? See whether he does pivot to something that's a little bit better into the blitz, but this is the classic. I believe they will not. Zeus trying to get that heat to a good spot. See whether Gumayushi is going to be all right. There's the equalizer that you were talking about. The flash knock-up, and Delight has guaranteed the kill. That is first blood over to Zeus. And he was the guy getting the most done in the last game. It's not something that T1 are going to be fighting for. Well, they are coming into the area to see what's going on. Zeus burning Doran. Oh, God. One more auto would have done it. But he does respect and gets himself out of the way.
Yeah, the overheat kind of timed out. To start up the dragon. The light is here. Doesn't have... Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now he's in the ghoulie wall with a kennel. And he's got cats, not dogs.
That is not a fun place to be. Caged up completely.
Certainly not.
He wants to try and steal this.
Well, let's see whether he can. Rough grab, not exactly the highest amount of damage in comparison to a smite, so probably wasn't really going to work out. There is Mountain Soul again. As Viper is Valkyring forward, looking for Gumayushi, trying to do some damage here, as it's a really nice pillar. to make sure that he flashes away. For Faker on this Annie.
Yeah, Herald's up.
Malignance is very important.
And T1 have pretty good control in the area. And I feel like, other than those...
Oh dear. Cullen comes down. There's a flash over from Delight to get him out of the kennel. But again, this was a dangerous time for HLE last time around. This time, Gumushi making his way in. Ona over here as well, as Faker is now going to be moving down. Nature's Grasp away! Of course Gumushi steals it. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. The ulti's going to pick up Tib as Faker is now isolated, as Peanut and Delight are set to take him down. But Zeker is also dead, so mid laners are going to get traded. And now the teleport from Doran comes forward. Tibbers goes down, but I think Peanut is also going to be dead, and there he goes. Viper wiped off the rift, and it's all of a sudden just a disaster for HLE because Zeus didn't have TP.
No, he did. I think Doran stopped his TP.
Oh, no.
And then TP'd himself. I think that's what happened.
Ghoulie wall value.
I think that must be it. I'm sure we're going to read through. How does it just keep happening?
Yeah, why does Gumushi keep taking these? Okay, there it is. It was on us. There's no way for the Rumble to do anything about it.
Yeah, yeah. And then he provides, the TP's perfect because he's the blocker that stops them from, cuts them off, stops them from getting away. I mean,
that was gorgeously played.
I think the fight was already going pretty well for T1, but Doran just secured. He made sure they won that massively and had a huge advantage there. And now 3 dragons.
Exactly, and it's also like they managed to get feats of strength as Gumushi. Peanut is going to find him, denies the grab, but in comes Ona. He's gone so far, still Viper doing enough damage. Subjugate going to be used onto Peanut here as Carrier turns up, but a little too late to save his 80 carry. So taking this out of turret, going to be a big deal here for Hanwha Life eSports, but still, like I said, uphill battle.
It's that perceived safeness when you have vision all around, but there's one little hole.
Yep.
Look at the Herald coming down.
Carrier, he's going to be the one driving it into the turret this time around, and they do manage to get the crash. There's the Nature's Grasp, though. Let's see whether they can find it. Carrier picks the gap with the ulti.
The cannon minion was...
though.
I believe someone got the cannon.
There we go. I mean, I think that means it's fine.
Gone to the aiming school.
Think about it. Well, teleport is going to come on through. There's the TP from Doran just to make sure that he's here for this fight. Shield bow picked up for Zeker as he shows up. The Otacon still up and alive. Doran going to be the first one to go down. It is going to be the Otacon secured by T1. Massive ulti comes through, but T1 are still standing. The equalizer enough to finish them off, and Faker not able to make it out as HLE turning this into a bloodbath. Down they all go, and Otacon for ace is the trade HLE get. You don't need to fight for it either. It's a lone Drake. Doesn't actually matter. Oh, if you want the direct quote, by the way, that we've got the actual chat. LOL in all caps, no ... human never change. As the patient waiting in that brush, as this turret is just on its last leg.
Oh, Delight?
Delight is just going to walk too far forward. Not able to get any buttons off at all. As Ona able to run his way out of there as well. Zeker unbinds the soul, but now they're without their Blitzcrank for 30 seconds time. He has TP to make his way back. Equalizer to try and thin out the wave. But I think they will still have enough to take down this turret because they didn't really need it.
Yeah. No, not again.
Don't do it again. Don't do it again. Do it again. Oh, God. He actually just did it again.
Literally.
Not a replay.
Just died to this. But now Baron's up.
Yeah. 7 seconds on Delight as Faker is going to move on out. Redemption does a lot of damage, actually, alongside the Baron.
Oh, Faker's looking.
Yeah, Flash Tibbers comes through, but Zeker is immediately going to cleanse that one off. There's the Nature's Grasp coming through. Nice knock-up. It's only a single ulti. Tag there from Zeker, unfortunately. So not the big one that we saw last time around. And another battle towards this bottom side as the Maiden is going to get taken down, but the Equalizer not enough to take
Feels
out.
like control definitely in favor of T1. Now they are looking for Doran. Doran, oh, I think he's just dead.
Yep, this is a tough one. Zeus trying to follow him up, but Zeker able to stack up that Q, gets over the Ghoulie wall as well, and the Unbound Soul would have guaranteed that one anyway. So down goes the Yorick in the side lane. He's got TP, 45. Gumushi almost face-checking Peanut there. As we know, he is in this brush. The hook is going to connect, and unfortunately, Carrier is going to be the one getting jump-scared this time around. The support's really having a hard time keeping vision on this map.
Coming through, and that's enough to translate it. Ends up being towards this Dragon to secure the second of the game and just fully ice out any chance of T1 getting the soul for now. The question is, what can they get done with this Baron. Looking towards, I feel like they push in mid and bot, maybe to look.
All right. Well, Delight is going aggressive, as we can see.
You want to buy a lot of time, and then they can just focus on defending bot lane as a unit. It looks like they might have to give this tower up, though.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one to defend. Carrier is there with the door, as Owner is going to get engaged on here momentarily by Peanut. Kennel not really going to work out, as we can see, as Faker off to the side, just barely out of vision.
But again,
Peanut not going to take the bait this time. Oh, man.
The Mount Kyle is so big for securing this. They can just use it as a diagonal.
Exactly. It's like Talia Wall, right? Works exactly the same way, and they're just going to break open the base. They didn't need the mid wave because they just force all the way through bot.
Yeah, this does mean, though, they're not able to translate this into more. It's still a huge pickup, don't get me wrong. Although I say that, they're looking.
All right, they're looking for Gumushi, the ulti, and the flash has to come out. That's a lot invested there as the hook is going to come through. Carrier has the door, still takes so much damage in the culling, still high value. I'm not sure about this one here, HLE, as the flash comes out. In goes Zeus, trying to go aggressive on the back of that one. Great knock-up there from Zeka, but out goes Owner. Gumayushi coming on through there, but Doran is right in the mix. They take down Owner. That's 1,000 gold, though. Massive, massive money over to T1. And Gumayushi still standing.
There's no good wave clear, you know, and everyone who wants to wave clear, like Annie or Lucian, has to walk up so far, so...
It's kind of crazy, though, because it's still a 5,000 gold lead. That, like, since the start of the Baron, nothing's really changed. We'll see whether it does here, as the Nature's Grasp is going to come on through. They look to take down the Braum first, and he will get taken out, but the trade might be there. Gumayushi just barely survives, and he even gets the redemption. Zeus not going to be as lucky, as he is going to be flattened by Doran once again, but Zeka looking for that angle one more time. Faker goes golden. The Soul is still unbound. He finds so many knockups, but can we finish some kills? Here HLE is Viper, so incredibly close to lose, and Doran secures it. And you need to finish your kills, HLE, as T1. These health bars are just being restored.
The fact this was a 5,000 gold lead going into this, and again, T1 are managing to pull out these victories, surviving with slithers of HP in these situations. Zeka trying to get away. He's still a dangerous threat, though. Doran, I'm not sure you're going to be happy with what you find.
Yeah, exactly right. Unbinds the Soul here. There's the flash from Doran.
Oh, nicely played.
That was pretty cute, but Zeka is still dangerous. The teleport comes in. Can he actually take down Doran? No! Finds the Q, takes down this terrifying Yone, and now Gumayushi, he's going to cull him, because why not? Nature is going to be grasping as well, but
Peanut's on his way. He's a while away. This is just so hectic.
Yeah, so they can deny the Soul, but T1 now still have Baron for another 2.5. The gold, 100% even. It is now going to tick towards T1 as Gumayushi gets that last hit on the inner turret. But by no means has anything been decided off either of these Barons. I think it's going to be a soul fight.
There's 35. We're on the map for this.
Yep. This could be the last opportunity. There's the knock-up onto Doran. Can they actually secure this, though? That's the question. Zeka snaps back, but a lot of damage has been done. The ultimate's going to tag him as the Nature's Grasp will come through. Zeus groups back up with his team as Gumayushi's doing so much work. Finds the culling and takes matters into his own hands. Gumayushi just says, not today, HLE. Down to his GA, but he has that item, so he can go this crazy in the fight, and T1 just roll over the top.
Absolute decimation. 5v5 team fighting composition be damned. T1 run them over. The final fight doesn't even look close.
That was just blink and it's over. And T1, they do it again. Game number 2 ends in about the same abrupt fashion as game number 1. And I guess the best thing you can think about for HLE is at least they were winning for a portion of these games. Unfortunately, it's not enough to kill